Hey guys, so today I'm here with the Barricade removable roof rack basket fitting all 2018 and up four-door JL Wranglers with the OEM hardtop. So as Jeep owners, we already know that interior storage space is definitely limited, so carrying all of that extra cargo outside of our Wrangler is a perfect solution. This option by Barricade is going to be perfect for the JL owners who are going on long camping trips or going overlanding and they want to carry all of that extra cargo, but they don't want to put it inside of their Wrangler. This is going to be very durable, made of an aluminum material, but it's also going to be able to hold up to 150 pounds. Now, speaking of that aluminum build, this is also going to be very lightweight and perfectly removable, as it says in the name. So this is going to be very easy to remove, very easy to install, and you're only going to need a couple of basic hand tools to do the trick. Now, with function also comes form. I do like how this sits. It looks a lot different than a lot of our other options on our page, and it also has that satin black powder coat finish on it to give it a very sleek look and always to protect that aluminum underneath from any corrosion. So this will be roughly $550, and I personally think for what comes in this package that it's definitely going to be worth the money. Now there are all different styles and kinds of roof racks, from down to the bare minimum crossbars all the way up to those big and bulky roof racks. I definitely think that this hits a sweet spot. It gives you form as well as function. You do get that large option where you do get a large basket with a bunch of tie down points, but you're still getting something that looks very sleek mounted up to the top of your Wrangler. And I definitely like that, and I think that that's a big takeaway from this piece. Now, install is going to be a very easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It should only take you 2 hours to get everything bolted up in your driveway. And you do have to remember that that is not just putting on and taking off your roof rack, that is building everything. So once you already have this built up and all together, it's going to be very easy to pop it on and take it off whenever you need to. So speaking of the install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I used for my install were a 1/4 inch drive ratchet, the provided Allen keys, 13mm and 10mm wrench, and a 10mm deep socket, as well as a 13mm deep socket. So before we can install our roof rack, we do have to put it together. So I would recommend to get all of your hardware in order because there is going to be a lot. And then we can go ahead and put our outside frame together and then work on our crossbars. So these 4 pieces are not going to be side specific, but we are going to install the front or the rear piece inside of our side piece. You're going to take your provided hardware, and then we can attach the 2 flat washers, the lock washer, and the nut. So there's going to be 1 on top and then 2 on the side. And this is going to be the provided button head bolts. The provided hex bolts will be for connecting all of the brackets. So connecting the frame and the crossbar is going to consist of all of the button head bolts. Then for the brackets, we are going to use the hex bolts. After all of those are on there, we can take our provided Allen key as well as a 13mm socket and tighten those down. Now you can flip this around and do the same thing on the other side. So because the front and rear crossbars are installed inside our sidebars here, I would recommend to install them both in one of the sidebars first so you can get the other one on. So we're just going to do the same process on this side. Now we can install our second sidebar. What we can do now is install our crossbars. On the bottom of each of your crossbars, you will have rib nuts inserted in there. So what we can do is go ahead and place those inside. You are going to get 3 of those. And what I do like about these is that it has a little rib surface here, so your stuff won't be sliding around, and it's going to give it a little bit of extra traction when you mount up your extra cargo on your roof rack. So once those are lined up and in place, we can grab our provided hardware. This is going to be the button head bolts, the lock washer, as well as our flat washer. We can go ahead and install those. So I did flip the roof rack over so you could get a little bit of a better view on what's going on the underside of our crossbars. Now like I said, there are rib nuts under here. There are also larger holes under here in order to install them through our side rack. So we are going to take the provided hardware and go ahead and thread that in. So once those are threaded in, we can take our provided Allen key. Go ahead and tighten those down. Then we can do the same thing for the other 2 crossbars. Now it won't matter which is the front or the rear, but we are going to determine that this is the front. So we're going to grab our front crossbar. We're going to line this up with the 2 holes here, and then we are going to take our longer provided bolt and go ahead and install this through the bottom there. Then you're going to need your flat washer, lock washer, and nylon lock nut. We're going to go ahead and secure that down. Now before we go ahead and tighten that down, we're just going to make sure that this one is lining up. So we're just going to stick that in there for the time being. Then we can grab a 13mm wrench and 13mm socket and tighten down that bolt. Now we can do the same thing on the other side. So now we can install our faceplate. This is going to help out with some wind noise to make sure that your roof rack is not whistling while it's on top of your Wrangler. And it also has a little Barricade branding for some extra styling. So you will have the provided hardware. This already has a flat washer and lock washer already installed on it. So we can go ahead and line that up the best we can and secure that down. So now we can take our smaller provided Allen key and a 10mm deep socket and a 1/4" drive ratchet and go ahead and tighten these down. So what we're going to do next is install our rear brackets. So these are actually going to be sandwiched in between our rear glass as well as our hardtop. Now we're not going to remove the actual bracket that's holding our rear glass. We're just going to loosen up those bolts and slide our bracket in between. So you're going to need a 10mm socket as well as a ratchet in order to do that. And we can start by loosening up these bolts.
So once they're loose, we can pop our bracket down in and behind, right? And then once that is sitting there, we can tighten up those bolts. We can do the same thing on the other side.
So in order to attach our rear bracket to our roof rack, we do need a secondary bracket. This is gonna bolt up right there, and our roof rack is going to sit on top there. So we are just going to take our provided hardware. This is going to be the hex head bolt and 2 flat washers, as well as a nylon lock nut. We're gonna go ahead and install that here. This will be able to adjust up and down. So we're gonna snug them up. We're gonna leave them a little bit loose though. So once we get our roof rack on, we can go ahead and adjust everything. So we're gonna go ahead and snug that up with a 13mm socket and 13mm wrench. So what we're going to do now is assemble our front brackets. You are going to have 2 pieces that create a clamp that's going to clamp on the rain gutter that is on your hardtop. So we are just going to take this, going to stick that bracket or stick the stud up through that hole, and as you can tell, this is going to clamp onto your rain gutter, and then you'll have the bolt holes up top that are going to bolt into that front crossbar there. So you will need a flat washer and a nylon lock nut. Then we can take the provided combo bolts and thread those into the welded nut on the back of our secondary bracket. And then what we can do as well is flip this over. We do have some gaskets here. This is some rubber that we can put on the bottom of here, and this is going to act as a clamp, and it's not going to hurt our hardtop when we clamp this down. We'll also have a foam piece that we can stick up top here, and this is going to protect our hardtop as well. Now I'm going to tighten these down with a 13mm socket. So we're not going to tighten them down all the way, we're just going to snug them up so we can adjust in the future. And then we can install our second bracket. So now that we have this together, we can put this on our gutter here. So that is just going to sit in place. Now we're gonna leave it loose just for now because we do have to line it up with our roof rack, so we can do the same thing on the other side. So what we can do now is grab a friend and we can go ahead and install our rack on our Wrangler. So now we can secure our basket down to our brackets.
using our provided hex bolts as well as the 2 flat washers and nylon lock nut. All right, so now we're going to take a 13mm wrench and a 13mm socket and tighten down our bolts. Now we can do the same thing all around.
So after our basket is tightly secured down to our clamps, we can go back and tighten down our clamps.
So I'm going to start by raising this one up. I'm using a 13mm socket. This is going to bring it upward and clamp to our gutter here. And then we can take our 13mm socket again and tighten down these combo bolts, and that's going to bring our bracket in. Now this is also easily removable. All you have to do is reverse that process, take these out, loosen this up, and you'll be able to pop this off whenever you want. Now we're gonna go back to our rear brackets and just make sure those are snugged up. So now we did leave these loose because we did want to make sure that this was adjusted properly. So we're just gonna go ahead and tighten those down with that same 13mm socket and 13mm wrench. And then we can repeat that process on the other side, and once everything is tightened down, then you're all set to go.
So that's gonna wrap it up, guys, for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos like this, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.